Guys, my name is Najwa. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please do me a favor. Hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the bell so you know whenever I post a video. We got to talk about these last couple episodes of Real Housewives of Orange County. I'm with Heather. Like, let me just go ahead and put my stance out there in the world. I'm pleading the fifth. I'm sticking with it. I love Emily. I love Emily, but I am with Heather. I love Emily, and I'm with Emily to a certain extent as well, but I'm with Heather. I'm with her. You know, they have been on her hard this season. And everybody, you know, including her good friend Tamra. Which Tamra, we know, like, it really just depends on the day of the week how she gonna flip. She might be Heather's best friend one week. Next week, she might be, Lord have mercy, she might be the worst enemy. She might be the person that you really don't want to get on the bad side of. It just, I guess it just depends on the week. But, she's been seeming to flop on Heather a whole lot this season. And I let me just go ahead and get this out here. You know, to a certain extent, I really resonate with Emily. I've told you guys that before. And to a certain extent, I also really resonate with Heather. Heather is someone who is, she's not going to kiki with you just to kiki. Like, maybe that'll happen from time to time, but she travels in a different echelon. And I'm not saying that that's me or anything. I'm just saying I know that. I know you know when you're around that person who you can kiki, you can laugh with, you can crack jokes with. You can crack jokes at their expense, and you know it's all good. They'll do the same thing back to you. They'll laugh, whatever. That person is Tamra, right? That person is Shannon. Heather's not that type of person. She's more conservative. And even though she seems very hard, we have seen from the past she's actually really sensitive beneath that, right? So, it just is strange to me that they don't really realize that. They don't realize that this is a thing here. The whole thing, like, oh, I'm tasting sand or whatever. It just was like, Emily, stop. By the way, I'm sorry. I hope I'm not giving spoilers. I'm going to lump the last two episodes together. So if you don't want spoilers, don't watch. I'm not, like, and instead of doing what I usually do, I'm not really going to go through each episode, you know, and recount, you know, everything that happened in chronological order. I'm just going to kind of go with my thoughts and how I'm feeling. The major things, just I guess to summarize before I do really go through what I thought, the major things that we see in these last episodes is Gina is really hurt that Shannon is going around telling people that she almost lost her kids to CPS and Shannon was a saving grace to come in there. We all know that Shannon is passive aggressively doing this as a subtle retaliation because she doesn't like the way Gina and the entire group shaded her relationship with John. Like, if anybody with 2 brain cells understands that that's why she's doing this. Heather, in the meanwhile, is very blunt about saying the relationship between Shannon and John is not good. But she's not necessarily saying that to Shannon's face. She's saying it in the confessionals. She's saying it to other women. But she's not saying it to Shannon's face. Because you know what happens if she were to go and say that to Shannon. Shannon would go crazy. Which I do think that Heather is genuinely concerned about Shannon. Heather and Terry, like I said, have been together since Jesus was a boy. I don't see that their marriage is really... I see their marriage is rock solid. I really do. Part of that comes with their snobbery. It's like they keep an iron fort around their marriage. They also are, they're more rich. I'm sorry, but they're richer. They're richer, and they have penetrated into a certain echelon more than the other women. You know, their image is, that's another thing, right? Their image is really more important to them in a certain way than the other women, and they just have to realize that. Vicky is like different. I feel like Vicky has probably similar money like Heather and Terry, but Vicky is like a wild card. You know, Vicky can get down, she can dance, she can party. Terry and Heather are not like that. They're not trying to risk their nice business deals and business opportunities because of y'all. And the echelon of people, I don't want to say echelon because it sounds snobbish. How do I want to say? You guys know what I'm saying, right? Like the culture of people that they usually set themselves around, I think understand that. I think the culture of the people that they hang around understand that. They understand, you know what, if I'm going to shade you, I'm going to need to do it without giving away too much, or without showing that I'm doing this to shade, but showing more that it's coming from a place of concern. Whereas these women is like, now, beer goggles gonna make me say whatever it is I want to say. And we see that through Emily and Gina. As I've said before, I love that Emily and Gina give us a representation of the younger generation to a certain extent. They give us the representation of the millennials or the Gen Z or whatever it is. But I do think that sometimes there is a disconnect because of that. You can even see that Gina and Heather had formed this kind of good relationship or whatever. But then when it came to Heather not telling everybody about the fact that she had sold her house, Gina felt betrayed. Well, it's like, look, Gina, this is bigger. It's just like that situation with Taylor and the movie. Heather ain't gonna just be out here putting her business out there, especially if she deems in her eyes that you're not trustworthy. You know, that you're not trustworthy. I can't put this information in you. And trustworthy in the sense that, you know, I feel like Heather associates her image with her emotions. If you come after her image, it's like you tearing down her emotions. And Emily and Heather really go at it. And it hurts me because I think that in some way they really see each other like sisters. They see each other like those sisters or those siblings that like, they're different, you know? The love is there, but they are different types of people. That's really kind of how I see Gina. That's how I see Emily. That's how I see Emily and Gina with Heather, Heather with Gina, Heather with Emily. And then with Shannon and Heather, there's just too much history there. You know, there's just too much history. So what I would like, oh God, and what really hurt me was when Heather was crying and Shannon was like, oh, you need to put that crying scene on your IMDb. Let me just say this. I've been at this point, right, where I've been completely sober, you know, and I don't want to come after Shannon because I love her so much. But it has to be said, you know, like, I used to party a whole lot. I was like, I got to go into a story with this one. When I was in high school, it was like I got my partying out before university. I would like sneak out of the house and then go to some friends' house parties. One time we literally like jumped off the roof of a house to run from the police. You know, growing up in East Atlanta, it was like, you know, beer pong, smoking pot on the baseball field. It's like I did all of that in my late teens, my very early 20s, and it was like I got it out of my system. You know, in my 20s, yes, I partied, but for the most part, it was out of my system late teens, early 20s, right? And so a lot of times when I would go around those same friends who were living the same way, you know, partying every night, every weekend, after work, you know, I would get around them and I have one cocktail or whatever, and I would not smoke any pot. You know, it's like, when we were talking, you know, even when they were sober, they were still just in that mindset. And so we were not looking at things with the same eyes. This is not the exact same situation with Shannon and Heather, right? It's not the same situation. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? When you're in a different state of mind than someone else, that person who was in that party, drinking, whatever, that distraction mindset, they don't even have empathy the same way. And this is really a bigger social conversation, I feel like, that needs to be pulled out, that we need to talk about. It's like we're losing empathy. Someone is crying in front of you, and you're saying that needs to go on your IMDb page. It's insensitive. It's not right. But, again, Heather and Shannon, long history. You remember when Heather threw Shannon out of her house. Now, I feel like Heather threw Shannon out of her house because she went into fight or flight mode. You know, she even talks with Terry after that moment. And I've been there before. You know, even where, like, I've been there before with a good friend, you know, honestly. And I freaked out. I went into fight or flight mode. I thought this one friend was flirting with my husband, my fiance at the time. And I just freaked out, you know. And things have never, ever been the same. And after that, my husband was like, you know, that's not what was going on. At least I don't think so. But it was like the area that person was coming from was not that of what a true friend in my book really does. And so the damage had been done, and I felt no worse for it. It was like, yes, maybe I could have done things differently, but I don't just go into fight or flight mode for no reason. Heather didn't just go into fight or flight mode for no reason that night. But ever since that day, a wedge has been held there between Shannon and Heather. It's like it's been boiling up for years, and it's going to keep boiling up until they get it out, until they can move past it. So where I see Emily and Heather going at it, that's something different. Where I see Gina and Heather forming this friendship, but maybe their difference of experiences or backgrounds or ages or whatever it is kind of is a challenge in that, that's different. Heather and Shannon, that's way bigger. And behind all of this, you know, I'm not saying Tamra is behind all of this, but like playing in the background is just the oh my God, Tamra is basically like a reality show all on her own. It's like the reality show that is Tamra playing all the way out on her own, you know. So that's what I see here. And then Jen, the more I see Jen, the more I just love this woman. You know, I feel like she is actually bringing a level of genuineness, authenticity, and just chill vibes, support that none of the other women are seeing. I feel like it's because she's new. I feel like there's too much history between some of the other women to a certain extent. And Jen, you know, her focus is raising these kids with her partner. I love that Ryan, her partner, is speaking about marriage. That shows that he's serious. His past, okay, get it, we're a little skeptical, but I like that he's putting that out there. You know, that you're my woman and I want to show this and I want to make that commitment and devotion of love. I hope that he's genuine in that. But generally, what I see from Jen and Ryan, I'm liking. You know, their past is a little dubious, and it makes us a little scared and skeptical, kind of like our mom is, that, you know, we're going into this and we're going deeper into this, but I like it. With all the other women, the history is deep, you know, and we got to dig a little deeper. We got to move past the past so that we can move forward. But I want to know what y'all think. Let me know in the comments. If you're new here, please, please, please do me a favor. Hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the bell so you know whenever I post video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.